Hi, my name's Destiny, and today we're going to be going over the educational journey map from the PACA class in WGU Academy. The educational journey map is basically a breakdown or an overview of everything that you've taken from the class and the assessments that came along with it. To make things easier, we're going to be going over my educational journey map. So first, let me tell you about me and why I started at the academy and why now. I've struggled with being consistent and committed, and I've always wanted to move forward with my education, and I've found WGU to be the perfect way for me to actually achieve my goals due to the flexibility and support that it offers. I had originally planned to graduate from the PACA course in 3 months from the date that I started, but that has changed, and that's one of the benefits about WGU is being able to, pause and then come back because life happens. As of right now, I just want to try to get as much done as possible before things get a little crazy again. What or who is my motivation? I am most motivated by myself, my inner child, my inner teenager, because no one was really there to guide and care for them. And I want to be able to do that for them, for myself. Moving forward, my support system has become so great compared to when I was younger. It really just includes like a very small group of family and friends, such as my mom, my best friend, a couple of my best friends, and my brothers, my sisters, and then my amazing boyfriend. They're very good at celebrating my achievements and being there for me, even when I don't tell them what's going on, but I just come out of the works with like something amazing. I really appreciate them for that too. My most inspirational and motivational quote that really drives me and has been driving me for the past few years was from Elon Musk. It was stop being patient and start asking yourself, how do I accomplish my 10-year plan in 6 months? You'll probably fail, but you will be a lot further ahead of the person who simply accepted it was going to take 10 years. I feel like this has allowed me a very driven personality trait. Like it once hearing it, I was like, okay, I can just like try to shove as much as I can into one thing and I'll be further. Like I'll be further than if I was to just accept what it could take and go against the odds, basically. In the first assessment, you're going over understanding and managing emotions. This is also one of the first courses that you take and part of your first class. The assessment feedback came back telling me that I have a solid foundation in emotional intelligence and that I likely have great relationships with people in my life and may find people approach me for advice at times. I do find this to be somewhat true. I feel like it kind of hit the nail in some areas, whereas me being like the approachable type, I'm not, but people do come to me for advice at often times, but usually it's people that I'm close with. As someone who struggles with being emotionally involved, I feel like my emotional intelligence is definitely something that I could improve on. But as of right now, it made me feel a little good to know that from like an assessment, and I love taking those little tests and stuff, that I have a solid foundation in it, but I know that there's room for growth. A past example of my own emotional intelligence is that I coped with emotions with drug abuse and alcohol, but I did it alone. After recovery, I realized just how emotional I am and suffered with severe anxiety. So dealing with emotions have been very hard, and at times I withdrew. I can say that I have gotten a lot better with that. I do drink here and there. I just try not to take it too far because I am someone who will, because I kind of used it as an escape. And that's the one thing I try not to do today. So today, using what I've learned so far, I found that STEP has really helped in intense moments, definitely with my partner, as we both are taking the course and reflecting often on it. We started this course at the beginning of the year, and me and my partner, honestly, we reflect on it so much. Anytime that we're in a disagreement or we notice something in our day-to-day lives that reflects on the PACA class itself, we always bring it to each other's attention, and we find it to be something that has helped us work through a lot of disagreements or hard times. The second assessment and also the second subject is self-efficacy. After taking the assessment, the feedback was that I might find that I'm already proficient in setting short and long-term goals that are realistic. For example, I might realize that there are still steps I can take to keep moving forward. And as I learn more about myself, efficacy I can impact. As I learn more about what self-efficacy can impact, I might gain even more confidence in my ability to tackle challenges and persevere. It can be challenging, but we believe in you, is what it said. And honestly, as someone who struggles with public speaking and being able to say the things that I feel or say the things that I've learned, it can be very difficult. So to know that my self-efficacy is only growing and I'm only becoming more confident and being more aware of the moments where I might be downing myself, I've learned that self-efficacy and learning what it is has only helped me be able to stop myself and be more positive and be nicer to myself and have more self-guidance. But a past example is that I was very confident in myself, but at times would lose sight of myself. This would lead to a lot of self-doubt and beating myself up pretty bad. And today, not much has changed, but my goals have become more realistic and big, whereas my dreams have become a bit smaller. Although I want to incorporate my dreams into whatever future I have, I know that I've kind of put that on pause to be a little more realistic with everything that's going on in the world as well as in my life. Next was the impact of bias. Describe a time when you experienced bias directed towards you. As someone who grew up in a mostly white populated community that also had a Mexican populated community, I did struggle a lot with making friends because I was too white for the Mexicans, but I was not white enough for the white people. So that made it very difficult. And then being a part of lower class also made it super difficult to maintain relationships and make friends. And with moving all the time, it was hard to find communities that I could belong in. Describe 2 strategies you will use to decrease bias towards others. I've always been very open to everyone. Although I can be introverted, most find me to be approachable and kind due to my welcoming energy. I also am very empathetic with everyone, putting myself in other people's positions and listening well. I find these strategies to be very useful because this is stuff that I've learned from being around people who weren't welcoming or who didn't have a positive outlook on life or people. I always do my best to try to create a safe space, even within my home, that is welcoming to guests that are coming over, always allowing for people to come over, never really saying no or turning anyone away, and always being a listening ear for those close to me. How will these 2 strategies used to decrease your bias impact your communication skills? It allows me to be in many situations and navigate through conversations while also building connection and long-lasting relationships. I feel like I value relationships and I don't just let anyone into my bubble or anyone stay into my bubble, but I always allow for people to be welcome and to enter. The next assessment and the next course was the communication skills. The assessment feedback for me said that you are at a proficient level in your communication skills. You are a capable communicator, but you might still experience communication problems at times. This might happen when you are trying to communicate to another person or when you are on the receiving end. I would say that this one hit the nail on the head, directly straight into the wall. It really hit it on the head. And I agree with it completely. I do struggle with communication, but at the same time, I find communication to be so important. So I try so hard to make sure that I'm always trying my best to communicate or receive information that even if I don't like it or I may not agree with it, I'm still able to listen without getting too emotional or overreacting. A past example for my communication skills is that I used to be very detailed and overly emotional or passionate that it could lead to confusion or even frustration. Oftentimes, I will dissect a little too much of an issue to find a solution rather than just listen and be there. But in today, I pay more attention to the person speaking to me and do my best to assess what the person needs from me, not what the story or issue they are telling me needs. This has helped me to be more empathetic and nurturing to my relationships. Through this course, that is something that I took away into my life so impactfully. And not only that, through therapy, it has helped me to better communicate and receive. Interpersonal skills, assessment 4. My feedback was that I am at a skilled level in your resiliency. You have a solid foundation in resiliency. At times, however, you might find that you have trouble handling or bouncing back from difficult situations, which makes sense as someone who does get really emotional and can put herself in a hole for a very long time. But a past example is that I used to withdraw and bail out of high intense situations, making it difficult to resolve things. Although this worked sometimes, there were other times that I lost relationships or opportunities. I hate reflecting on those lost relationships and opportunities as well. But in today's present time, I do not allow myself to flee overstimulated conversations or situations. I use STEP to evaluate the situation and navigate my emotions and response while also being mindful of the other person. This is something that took me years to learn, and even today I still struggle sometimes because when I get overstimulated with a conversation or situation, I do want to just flee. I just want to leave, but taking that step back to evaluate everything and prepare for whatever is to come has really helped me in getting through situations and even maintaining relationships. Lastly was the smarter section. It is specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, time-bound, evaluate, and reward. This is something that helps you with creating goals and actually fulfilling them, achieving them. My ultimate goal was to complete WGU and earn my accounting degree so that I can expand my business with full understanding and build relationships with people who are successful and positive. But first I needed to ask myself, why? Why do I need to graduate WGU and get an accounting degree? My SMART goal was to complete WGU Academy in 3 months to begin my accounting degree to further educate myself and support myself within my business and future endeavors. As someone who owns a business and has struggled her whole life with financials, I find it very important to use my resources and take what I've earned in the business that I have right now to further my education in the one thing that I struggle with most, which is financials. And I also want to be able to help people that I know in the industry that I am in that struggle just as much too. Next was adding evaluation and reward. I aim to complete a new section of the academy every week and make this a staple in my day-to-day life. In return, I get the education and confidence in myself to do anything. I was doing really well at this at the beginning of the year, and I'm only hoping to continue to do it moving forward after I complete this assessment or this assignment. But next was resources I need and who can help me. Most of all, I need myself to push me to my greatest, and I know I can rely on my friends and family to celebrate with me. But looking within and being able to get that self-efficacy, it is very important to be super nice to yourself, to talk highly with yourself, practice and just be with yourself as much as you can, but in a positive light. Don't be so negative. 2 strategies to bounce back from challenges and failures. Well, one of them, I will better regulate my emotions when overwhelmed with school, taking the necessary breaks to breathe and refocus. I have an issue with hyper-focusing, and then after I hyper-focus and I'm kind of like done for a second, then it takes me forever to get back. And something I've been trying to practice is actually finishing things and getting back to them quicker than a couple months or a couple weeks. And my second strategy is to not judge myself so harshly and have more positive thinking by first recognizing and stopping the negative thoughts. I feel like that one speaks for itself. My ultimate goal, like I said, is to complete the WGU and earn my accounting degree. And I only aim to continue towards that goal no matter how long it takes me. overall, that is the educational journey map, and for whoever ends up doing it, I think that it will definitely benefit them in a lot of ways, and to a certain extent, I find it to be a little necessary when going into college. So I do appreciate everything that I've learned and gained from this PACA course, and I only look forward to using these skills and what I've learned to further my education.